Do you know the story of the Bristol bus boycott? Bristol was like most places in the UK. Racist! It had a few thousand Caribbean residents, many of whom had served in World War II, only a couple decades prior, but a lot that had migrated there a lot more recently. They had to face discrimination in housing and employment, and if that wasn't enough, they lived with the threat of violence of gangs of teddy boys every day. They come together to form community and set up their own associations with which they could organise together. And when the Bristol Omnibus Company turned down a black person because of the colour of their skin, it was time. Now, the company had previously reported labour shortages to be driving the buses and advertised for prospective employees, but they refused to give work to black employees as bus crew. Now, the West Indian Development Council, a group of 4 West Indian men who are unhappy with the progress in the fight against discrimination, arranged an interview with a bus company for one of them to get a job. When the company found out he was black, the interview was just immediately cancelled. With the knowledge of the Montgomery bus boycott still fresh in their minds, they decided it was time for them to do this too. They announced the boycott the next day, and black people and white people who were in allyship were ready. Now, listen to this. When reporters asked the bus company about the boycott and why they didn't hire black staff, the bus company essentially said if they hired black staff, white staff would leave and then more black staff would come. And no white people want to join a company where black people are hired, calling black people arrogant and rude. Now, the boycott continued to gain momentum. Students from nearby Bristol University marched to the bus station in protest. The Labour leader, Harold Wilson, spoke out against the bus company's racist practices in a rally in London. As more people spoke out against it, news of the boycott spread overseas. Larry Constantine, a former cricketer and now High Commissioner for Trinidad and Tobago, joined the action and wrote letters to the bus company. He became a leading figure in the movement, and over a few months they continued to apply pressure to the bus company. Until finally, on the 27th of August, a mass meeting of 500 bus workers ended in the colour bar being overturned. The next day, the same day of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, an announcement was made that there would be no more discrimination in the hiring of bus employees. The next month, Rugbir Singh became Bristol's first non-white bus conductor. And a few days later, 2 Jamaican and 2 Pakistani men followed him. The effect of this boycott continued to ripple. It can be argued that it helped to bring about the Race Relations Act of 1965, in which UK Parliament finally made racial discrimination unlawful in public places. Of course, people still find ways to kind of disguise their racism, especially in England where subtle racism is like their MO. But it did help, and it made a big difference in the fight for racial justice.